I am fortunate today to be talking with a perennial NHL All-Star. He has won the MVP, the Vezina. He has also won an Olympic gold medal, World Junior Championship. His accomplishments on the ice mirror what he's been able to do off the ice in his charitable work. This man and his wife, Angela, donated $50,000 to COVID-19 relief to help feed families across Canada at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, I should say. He's currently the starting goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens, and he's a former Tri-City American from Anaheim Lake, BC. It's Carey Price. Carey, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me.
You know, we're in an interesting time right now. Obviously, you've been back from the bubble for a little bit. What have you done during the pandemic, and what have you learned about yourself?
Uh, well, basically, a lot of family stuff. We had our first baby boy a month ago, so a lot of baby things going on in the house, and already having two young girls at home has definitely kept me busy. But other than that, I've just been training and trying to get out hunting and fishing as often as I can.
Well, let's turn back the page a little bit. Let's start back when you were with the Tri-City Americans. You made Team Canada, the World Junior team, a classic moment, obviously in the shootout there. You guys went on to win the gold medal. But what I'd like to know about is when you come back to Tri-City after an event like that, where you miss your Christmas break, you're away from your family, you're overseas. How do you come back, readjust, and refocus to be a starting goaltender again in the Western Hockey League?
Well, it definitely was an exciting time. At that time of my career, it's kind of what every junior player kind of aspires to. Everybody wants to play in the World Junior Championship, and being able to win and come back riding that high was fun. I really enjoyed my time here in Tri-Cities, and being able to take that experience and apply it to the rest of the season was helpful.
And that same season, you ended up going to Hamilton, which was at that time the AHL team of the Montreal Canadiens. You played 2 games in the regular season before the playoffs started, and then the Bulldogs rode you all the way to the Calder Cup Championship, where you were named the MVP. Did the World Junior experience give you the confidence to step in at 19 years old, take over that role, and help the team end up win a championship?
I definitely thought it was a confidence booster. At that point in my career, I've been able to play for Team Canada in a couple of situations previous, and that definitely was a moral boost for me during the season. And it's kind of funny going into Hamilton. I didn't really have any expectations. I kind of expected maybe to play maybe one game and get a few minutes as a pro, and kind of prep myself for being a future professional. And things kind of snowballed from there, and we went all the way unexpectedly, and it was another great experience.
Yeah, your stats in that playoffs were off the wall. A 206 GAA and a 936 save percentage coming in after not playing, a full season in the AHL. It's incredible, and it's not surprising that you ended up making the NHL the next season with the Canadiens. And my question for you is more about your growth over that time. When you think about that first season you were in the NHL compared to this season you're heading into, how have you changed as a goalie and as a person in your approach to the game?
Oh man, it's a lot of things have changed since my first NHL game in Pittsburgh. I guess as any veteran will tell you, you kind of all those experiences help you prepare for the future, and I think I know exactly where I need to be at when the season starts. And I've had a recipe that's worked throughout my career, so. I kind of just know what to do.
Yeah, you got that experience that you've been through it. You've been to every rink. I mean, when you first started in Pittsburgh, they were at the old rink. Now they're at the new one. So, you've been through it all. But we talked about it earlier. You just had a young son. You've got 2 daughters as well. How is being a father? How does that change your approach to the game? And how does that change your routine that I'm sure you had set when you first got into the NHL?
Yeah, no question. It's definitely time consuming being a parent. It's definitely takes a bit of your focus away, but the time that you do get to prepare for the season and train, it's valuable time, and you have to make the most of it.
You've been through a lot. You've also been a rookie in this league. You've come up all the way through. Has there been a piece of advice that a teammate's given you that you now pass along to the younger players that come through the Canadiens organization?
Just keep your focus. It's being a young player in the National Hockey League is an exciting time. You're making money for the first time, and you're getting exposure, and you're living a dream. So just stay focused on doing your work, and have fun, have a little bit of fun, but not too much.
Not too much fun, hey? Well, that leads me to my next question. This might be a little controversial, but you look at some of the goalies that have come through the Canadiens before, Ken Dryden, Patrick Waugh. I mean, for myself, looking at your career, my only question for you is, are Marc Bergevin's biceps really that big?
Oh, they're they're watermelons.
That guy can't find a
That
t-shirt that
guy's
fits.
no, it's a good thing he's got a good tailor.
Off the ice, you've been incredibly involved in charitable organizations. You're an ambassador to the First Nations through the Breakfast Club. Why did you choose to take that role, and what are you hoping to accomplish with it?
It's just a relationship that just kind of developed, out of a friendship, and they've really helped out a lot of First Nations communities throughout Canada, and it seemed like a good relationship to start. And they've taken care of the schools out in Anaheim Lake, and I'm very grateful to be a part of that.
Well, your charitable organization as well with the Breakfast Club, the shooting for the Stars has raised over $820,000 so far for charitable organizations in Canada. That's pretty successful, but how do you measure your own success as a player? When you go back and evaluate a season, what are the milestones you look for to determine if it was a good season for you, or if there's things that you really felt like you let slip by?
We kind of, it's nothing out of the ordinary. Any season you don't win the Stanley Cup is unsuccessful at the end of the day. But there's seasons you play well, and you played well, and there's seasons where you don't. And the seasons that you don't, you just need to look at what you can improve on and try and do that. And nothing really changes, even for the seasons that you play well. There's always things you can improve on, and reasons that you didn't win. So it's all about making those adjustments.
Well, one of your teammates, he's an assistant captain on the team. He's a guy I grew up with. I played with, we lived in the same city, but unfortunately I lived on the north side. He lived on the south side. Just signed a big contract with you guys. That's Brendan Gallagher. What do you think the odds are this year that Gally picks up a meal on the road?
I think he'll probably want to split it with at least one other guy.
It sounds like he hasn't changed much.
He's a pretty frugal guy, but he's a good guy.
He's a really great guy. And I'll tell you, he hasn't changed since he was 11 years old. I'm sure there's some days in practice you don't really like him too much.
No, he definitely battles whenever he's on the ice. It doesn't matter with who either.
No. Carey, my last question for you is, as you look forward to this season and the potential of the Canadian division, out of those Canadian rinks, which is your favorite to play in?
It's always going to be Vancouver, I think. Well, aside from being at home, obviously, that goes without saying, but definitely going back to BC has always been a lot of fun for me.
Well, Carey, thank you so much for taking time out of your day today. Best of luck with the newborn, as well as getting prepared for the start of this season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.